Hey guys, Mediocre Pie here with a review of the Benchmade Rescue Hook number 5. I've been using this on and off for the past year, and I'm not very impressed. Not at fault of Benchmade, just rescue hooks in general, and I'll get into that later. This will be a two-part video. First part will be the review. Second part will be a demonstration of this thing in use, head-to-head with some trauma shears, and I'll talk a little bit about my philosophy when it comes to cutting tools. So. First of all, this thing goes for about 35 bucks MSRP. You can find it a little cheaper on the street. This is the satin finish version with the black plastic sheath. They also have a black oxide finish one which comes stock with a nylon sheath. That one, however, does not have the O2 wrench or the bottle opener, so just something to keep in mind. Overall, this is a great size and weight. It really disappears in your pocket. You can see here compared to the handle of some trauma shears, it's about the same size without, of course, the shear part. So very easy to put it in your pocket and not be overweighted or encumbered by it. When I first got this, I carried it on my belt. I looped some parachute cord through these two slots, and within the first 2 weeks, I had lost this, I think, 3 times, and I just really was not happy with the performance of this sheath with any sort of external carry. This thing gets bumped down and knocked out this way and just falls right out, or it just gets pulled right out. I was lucky enough to have a firefighter see it drop off my person one time on a call and hand it back to me. On a couple other calls, I either lost it in the ambulance while I was sitting down or on the scene with all the confusion. So don't trust the sheath. It's a great edge protector if you're going to put it inside your bag or inside your pocket. I really have not had any issues with this coming off in my pocket. But other than that, give Benchmade an extra $7.50 and get the nylon sheath if you want to put it on your backpack or belt or any sort of external carry. So, other than that, 440C construction, very sturdy piece of steel. I really have not had any issues with this rusting or anything of that sort. 440C is a great tool steel. Bottle opener has worked out great. It's really hard to mess up a bottle opener, and this is probably one of the most used tools for me. Either when I get off shift, I just take this out of my pocket and leave it in my car, and I use it as a bottle opener there for soda, carbonated beverages. The second most used tool for me is the O2 wrench, which 25% of the time, roughly, doesn't fit over the bottle, the nut on the bottle, and either it's the manufacturer's tolerances on that nut are just a little off and it's just too big, or it's been worn and smashed down a little bit and it just doesn't fit over. So I think it'd been nice if Benchmade made the aperture here a little bit bigger, but it works very well when it fits over, and I really can't fault them for that. So overall, their ergonomics are decent, though this jimping is way too aggressive. I found myself numerous times after struggling to get a cut started, the thumb on my glove is just completely torn up. So it would have been nicer if they did a kind of knife-style jimping, smaller, a little bit more fine, and a little bit more polished on the edges, just to reduce the risk of opening up your glove and exposing yourself to a patient's fluids. So moving on to the cutter, just in general, I think rescue cutters are very limited in their use. They're great for exposing a patient's clothing or that sort of thing, or cutting thin line or something, in any sort of use where you don't want to cut your patient or yourself, or you have something else that you don't want to damage. One thing to keep in mind, though, this is a chisel grind, so if you do lay it flat or something, there is the risk of cutting yourself or whatever it is on the back side of this. So I think if Benchmade made this a V-grind, it would be a little bit more difficult to execute, but I think it'd make it even safer. So other than that, though, this is, unless your rescue cutter is very sharp, it's very difficult to start a cut, in my experience, whether it's on a t-shirt, kind of on one of those folded over hems, or on a set of jeans. This cut's great for the first 2 or 3 cuts, but then you just put in so much effort that you're just building up tension, and then when it finally pops through that seam, you just fly out, and it's just uncontrolled, which, in my opinion, is not good at all. Additionally, you're adding a lot of stress and stuff when you're trying to get the cut started. You're shaking around and moving a lot, and that translates into movement of the patient's injured extremity, which is never acceptable for me. So those few reasons have pretty much made it that this thing never gets used, except for the O2 bottle wrench. You're very limited in the size of stuff you can cut. This is normal climbing rope, and if you can see here, it doesn't fit all the way in. So if you want to cut something large, you really have to stand there and sit and saw back and forth and do a lot of effort, and it just doesn't work very well. So if you're going to use this for some sort of rope cutter, find something else. Get a rescue knife. These things work great. If you're not cutting around patients, never, ever, 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 ever use a knife around a patient to cut clothing or whatever. But this, one swoop, cuts right through. So overall, it's not that Benchmade has done a bad job making this tool. It's very well constructed, except for the sheath, though that can be solved with a nylon one. It's just that rescue hooks are very limited in their application, and 9 times out of 10, trauma shears will do the job way better. And these things come in at about $8 a piece. You can use them. You can wail on them. You don't have to worry about breaking them because they're so damn cheap. You can just get a new set. And this is really what I go to all the time for exposing patients' injuries. These things can cut through pennies. They can cut through zippers. Nothing can really stop these guys. So they might be a little bit slower. That is the one benefit to the rescue hook, is if you do need it does, once you get that cut started, it cuts very fast. It's very easy to expose quickly, but the added struggle really rules that out for me. So anyhow, thanks for watching. I'll have the second part of this video up shortly, later today, and kind of go more into why this tool just doesn't work very well. So anyhow, thanks for watching. See you guys later.